Hello, people. Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me because I didn't even set this up. I'd literally just hit the button and wanted to see if anybody wants to chat. I'm at home really briefly before we go off to the F2 testing because we got a bit of a tight schedule actually this month, where we got 3 races on the bounce. So I thought, you know what, I haven't got time to put together a proper video. So why don't I just talk to people and we'll just have a chat on here. So if anyone's got any questions, just put them down in the chat here, or message me on any other way because it'll all come through. And hello, Abdullah, how are you doing? What's your question, Abdullah? Shoot, give me something to talk about. Just so you know what I've been doing lately, I was at Silverstone with hello Ned, at Silverstone with the British GT and GB3 and all this, and got absolutely soaked. It was really wet, but it was, you know, it's racing in Britain, isn't it? It's the way it is. So it was a bit tough, but we had a good win. And actually, with the WH Sports drivers, we had 8 wins in bloody 7 days, which is a record, I reckon, which is quite cool, which I love. Somebody's text. What's that? That's my sim. Yeah, it's not on. I've been using it today to go to Po, helping someone prepare for the Po race that's coming up, which is a big street race, if you know it. We use the sim, but the sim I've actually got is Fanatec CSLDD, and our direct drive's the way to go, right? You know it is. If you've got the cash, and I think they're only about €400 for the steering, for the actual base. It's the cheapest DD that you can get. So if anyone wants to go for direct drive on the simulator, I would say get one of them. I mean, I've used SimuCube and all this, SimuCube and what's the other ones? The Fanatec Podium, but I'd say that one's just, it's good. You know, it hasn't got as much kickback, but 8 Newton meters, I think it is. So yeah, right. Ned, may I ask, how did you start racing? Well, I started racing as a teenage kid who hadn't got a clue how to race, who was working in a pizza shop, 0 cash, no history in motorsport whatsoever. So it took my time. I went to a race school when I was just 17, and back then there was something called Jim Russell Race School, and what they did is like a week's course, and you do this week's course. It costs like $2,000, and it's a long story how I got the money together to even do that in the first place. But you test for a week. They put you through skid car and all these things, a different thing each day, and then by day 5, you get your race license. And then they do a little mini race weekend where it's all the students together racing against each other, and it classes as your first ever race. So that was in 1994. It was it was while the Japanese Grand Prix was on. I remember watching the F1, and I was there, complete novice. And then it took about another 3 years after that before I got enough money with a bank loan, which don't do, by the way, because you end up paying it back forever. But with a bank loan, I bought a Formula Ford car, which I know I haven't got a photo of it. It was the crappy white one you've probably seen me put up before. And I just eked my way through that season. That was the night, 1997. And then the year after, I got a different car, which is actually this one, which you see at the back of the Race Driver Coach Show, because behind you is the backdrop, by the way. This is the other side. The camera usually sits there. You can see the tripod, right? So you're seeing behind the scenes today. That was the second car that I bought. Favorite number's 5, but I couldn't have it, so 55 will do. And I won the championship in that one, and then went into F3, but only did half a season because I couldn't afford it. So money was always a bad thing for me, but that's how I started racing. So race school first for that week intensive course. You can do it cheaper. You just do it a day course, get your license, get some money to get a car, enter a championship. That's really all there is to it. And you kind of learn on the go. You crap yourself, of course. You make loads of mistakes, but that's what I did. I just got tons of little sponsors, like 500 quid here, $1,000 there, 100. Someone buying me a set of tires, but you just get through. That's at club level. Obviously, if you want to go for the big championships, hundreds of thousands of dollars, euros, it's a bit far-fetched for what I could afford. So yeah, that's how I started. Abdullah, how can I join driving academy team, sim racing. Oh, through sim racing. Okay. Now, sim racing, I just mentioned the sim. I think that is a way in now. I really do. It's the long game. You might have to do it for like 5 years before you get a shot, or you find out there's a certain scholarship that you can enter that allows you to go from your bedroom to the racetrack. But I reckon there's going to be more that come. But when you look at drivers that actually do make the leap, they work for manufacturers as their sim driver. And Nicky Ellerly did this. He worked for Force India, which was 6 years ago or so, as the sim driver. And when it came to the F1 rookie day, actually testing the F1 car at Abu Dhabi, he got the nod. He got the nod because he drives the sim. They've got no other driver they want to put in the car, and it'd be good to see if the sim driver can correlate between the real car. So that sort of stuff can happen. But really, going from sim to a proper F1 academy, if that's what you're asking, it's unlikely. But mate, I reckon it's going to happen at some time, right? So it's a passion of mine to somehow figure this out. How can I help drivers go from the bedroom to the racetrack? And I'm sure there's going to be something will click one day of how we can set something up. But keep looking online because there will be certain shootouts that you can do. Enter as many online racing. Get some good equipment. Save up. Buy some hydraulic pedals for like $1,000. You don't have to do this, but if you really want to take it seriously, you can. You get a gaming PC for about $1,000 as well. Spend about $1,000 on the wheel and a monitor and good internet connection. Get on iRacing, get your iRating right up. Enter all these big races, and you never know because some of them have got big cash funds. So there is ways of doing it, my friend. Let's have a look at somebody else. What racing series should I start in? Depends on your cash. If you can only get like 20 grand together, you're going to have to go club racing. In fact, I heard somebody doing club racing for 10 grand pounds. This is right. So it's possible in certain countries to do it that cheap. But if you got 500,000, then you might as well start. And you got another 5 million after that to go to F3, F2. Then you can start in F4. If you want to go GT racing, then starting something like a mini championship, MX5s, Fiestas, these kind of things are quite cheap. They're doable. Put it this way, nothing's cheap, but they're doable. If you've got a job, if you've got about 20 sponsors giving a little bit, you could eke your way, like I did, through a club race meeting at weekend season. And if you get the results and you keep pulling in the sponsors and you get a good reputation, then you can go to touring cars, GTs, world endurance, you name it. I'd say F1's a bit too expensive now. And even if you got the money, you've got to be bloody good. Because the championships, all the junior championships, they seem to be like, there's like 40, 50 cars in F4 in the main one, Italy. You've got the Spanish one, which is full. Freca, which is for regional, that's absolutely rammed. F3 can't get any more cars in F2. So it's like, even if you got the cash, how are you supposed to get the good team and how are you supposed to stand out? So if you haven't got the cash, look for club racing. If you're a student, go to that particular country like England, America. Germany is quite good for cheap racing. These different countries have a good racing scene. I still think England's the best, to be fair, because you've got so many tracks in a short distance of each other, and it's still quite cheap. And there's loads of club racing with like 70 cars in it. So I'd say, yeah, if you want to start cheap, look to England. Even if you get a flight over, it's only probably 8 races a year, so it's achievable. Right. If you were to travel back in time and start everything from scratch, what would you change or do differently? I would have done business at school because I didn't do it, and I should have learned how to get sponsorship earlier, even though I hated school. I bummed it on purpose. I was the kind of kid that put silly answers in his exam, so I just weren't interested. I want to be a race driver, but I was deluded, like a lot of people are, right? Because you don't know what you're doing in motorsport when you first arrive. I just thought I want F1. And I'm somehow going to make it. I'm going to prove it. Someone's going to see me and they're going to give me a chance. Now I know the industry. Now I coach drivers on how to earn a career and make a career and how to drive and all that. I was deluded, but I was a council estate kid from the projects. If you don't know what that is, from America, council estate kid. who wanted to be an F1 driver with no karting pedigree and like 17 years old. Bloody no chance, or hardly any chance, because I didn't have the know-how. So I would have done more business, learned sales, learned motorsport sponsorship, probably gone and worked for a sponsorship or PR agency to really get to know how to get into companies, what they're after, how to communicate to them. And if I was doing that and being good at that, and I was getting the results on track, who knows where that would have gone. But to be fair, I don't know if I was good enough. Maybe to get a career, but for F1, I don't think so, because these kids are doing it from the age of 5, karting, and I probably would have got my ass kicked, to be fair. So who knows? And I found my true passion, which is coaching anyway. So I did life coaching, and I started to do mental coaching, and I brought it all back to motorsport. So I sort of found my way. So if I butterfly effect, mate, if I change something in the past, who knows what would happen? But if you're doing it, if you're asking that question for like advice, I would learn business, learn how to sell. If you can sell, you can get yourself into any drive, and you can sell sponsorship. So that's number one for me. Nearly more important than bloody how to drive in the first place, to be fair. Okay, any more questions from anyone? Quinn. Now Quinn's back online. You emailed me, mate, and I'm so sorry. I meant to email you back about sponsorship and offering me something. And I was like, good lad. I didn't answer you, and you should have emailed me back, because your persistence is another thing, right? But no, basically, I don't need anything at the minute on that front. So when you email somebody about sponsorship, everybody, and Quinn did the right thing. It was like, how can I help you grow your business? Pretty much, he was saying that, right? And he was asking me, and I was like, that's interesting, because I don't need more clients. I don't need more exposure right now. I'm busy working on my craft, so I'm all right. But a few years ago, I would have needed clients. So it's a bit about timing as well. So Quinn emailed me, what do I want from the company? Quinn's thinking I can help Enzo through my racing, and then he'll pay me, which is fine, for the service, and I'll spend that on racing. That's sponsorship, right? So he did the right thing, but it was just his timing was off. I just didn't need it at that particular moment right now. So Quinn, thanks for that. Top job for asking in the first place and for contacting me, but keep doing that to different people, right? Get in their face, ask companies, what is it they really want? And then it's up to you as a race entrepreneur, all of you, this is not Quinn, everybody else as well, to find out how you can deliver that for a company in motorsport. So if they've got a brand new product, right? A company's got a brand new product, you go directly to that person who owns that company or is at the top, the highest person you can go, or to their PA, so you can get in through the back door. So can you help me talk to that person? And you find out what they're actually trying to achieve. Or if they've got this product, like, congratulations, well done for this ZenX product that you've just launched. It looks great. I think I can help you sell thousands or more units using sport. Do you fancy a coffee? And we'll have a word about it. And I think I've got an idea of how we can do this. That is your sales pitch. You say that to somebody who's got a new product or a service and they're trying to get it out. And you say, you know what? I've got an idea through motorsport or sport. You just keep it vague of how we can sell how many more units or get the eyeballs on it. They're going to have a coffee with you, right? Or at least 1 in 20 will. So thanks, Quinn, for that. Keep doing it. And everyone else, that's really how to sell sponsorship. You get in someone's face, you offer them what they want. And actually, you don't have to even have a sponsorship proposal. You just say, I want to sit down for a coffee, 5 minutes, make it as brief as you can. I want to shoot an idea to you about how I can move more units. Most people will say yes. And what you are thinking is, I can put it on the car. I can have product placements. We can do hospitality at race weekends for their best clients. We can have taste tests at the race weekends. And you don't even have to have the full list of things you're going to do for them. It's just you saying, let's shoot some ideas. I think we can do this in motorsport. Once you've had the coffee with that person, that CEO, that marketing manager, whoever it is, then you come away and make a proposal and put a price on it. And then you go back to them and say, what do you think? Much better way of doing it than just cold calling, by the way. Okay. Nicolas, what do you think of WRC Rally? Now, I haven't followed Rally for a while. It was big when I was a kid, but I haven't seen it for so long. I'm not involved in it. I don't teach rally drivers, so I'm not an expert. But because since it's been off the TV, we don't see it anymore. But I do love it. I think their skills are amazing. It's a bit harder, I'd say, to get money for, but it's the same old thing. If someone's interested in that sport and they think they can sell products through it, then go for it. But WRC is not my bag, mate, I'm afraid, but I do love it. Let's have a look. Don't go to race school, mate. Waste of time. Save more money. Start in V's. Yeah, I agree. Okay. All right. I did race school because I didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I needed to do race school for the license because I couldn't race without it. And it was kind of a gift in a way that I got that. And I'm so glad I did because they trained me all the essentials because it was a really good race school. Jim Russell, they basically got coaches with you. So they're training you for a week. I haven't seen anything else like it for a while. In America, I think they've got Lucas Oil is the one that is pretty cool. And there's plenty out there. And I needed it because if I just got a license doing a half-a-day course in a road car and then gone into a race weekend, I would have been terrible, honestly, because I didn't really know what I was doing. So the race school worked for me, but you don't have to. You can just go and spend your $300 and get your license and go straight into a race. But yeah, you might end up in a shunt. Who knows? Let's have a look. Hi Enzo, any tips of how to talk to businesses to get a sponsor for karting? Now karting's harder. It's cheaper, obviously, but there's pretty much nothing that you can offer a sponsor in karting. Absolutely nothing. You're going to stick a sticker on the cart. That's probably worth a tenner. It's not worth much at all. So when it's coming to sponsors for karting, I would say you've got to do the hustle way, mate. You've got to have, you can get lots of little sponsors giving 50, 100 and all this pounds, dollars. But I would say you're going to have to hustle. There's 1,000 ways you can earn money online now. And you're going to have to do it that way. You're going to have to go for a championship that's cheap as chips, even a rental car one. Anyone can afford them, right? I don't care if you're washing cars. You can earn how much? 700 a week washing cars. You have got to become, if you, I tell you what, if you want to play the sponsorship game, the entrepreneurial game to get a race seat, you're going to have to be good at them skills. It's not just a case of writing and putting a nice templated letter together and sending it. You have got to be good at selling. You've got to be good at thinking, right, how can I earn 100 today? How can I earn 100 tomorrow? And you are hustling your backside off and you collect so much money up together that then you go karting. So probably 1 year of really hard work to mount the money together and then continue that going as you're racing, because it doesn't cost much to go karting. So yeah, roll them sleeves up, my friend. You're going to have to do it the hard way. But then if you get the results, then the ball starts rolling. I think it's the start that's often the hardest bit, right? Because you haven't got any pedigree in racing, so you're not going to get any favors off anyone. So you're just going to have to roll them up and go for it and save up and be patient. If you know it's going to take 6 months to save enough money up to do 3 race weekends, so be it. But if you become good again at selling, if you become good at making money, you can go racing. That for me has got to be a priority for anyone who hasn't got cash to go racing. Take it on yourself. I'm going to earn it. I'm going to come up with ideas. Again, it's the easiest time in history to just make money from your bedroom. Even if you're streaming, gaming, and you're streaming it, oh man, there's hundreds of ways. We've got eBay and all sorts. You can go to a bloody boot sale or a thrift store, fill your boots for about $100, sell it all, and you can easily quadruple your money. It's whether it's clothes, whether it's equipment, anything sells. So there's no excuse now for not having money. It's just a case of you saying, right, I'm going to put it on myself to go get it. And you give yourself a target and you become an absolute money machine. That's what I want for you guys, because it can be done. You can start small. Let's have a look. Any more questions, people, before I go? Because I've got to run to the airport because we've got a Barcelona F2 test. Look at my phone just to make sure no one's come in. How did Oliver Bearman win all the races? Well, that was a special weekend in Baku. He got P1 in every session. Obviously, the biggest thing for me was my last video that I talked about. where he managed to get pole position, even though he bent the suspension by smashing the wall. And I'm not joking. The wishbones at the back, one of the wishbones was bent like this. Steering was like this, and he still got pole position because he just thought, screw it, I'm just going to do it. And that decision he made on the warm-up lap for that last lap that got him pole position was one of the best decisions he's ever made. I'm not going to come into the pits because the car's damaged. I'm going to listen to the team. I'm going to throw caution to the wind. I'm going to give it everything I've got and just see if I can stay alive for this one lap. And the rear could have given way on him at any second. It was bouncing all over the place because the suspension was screwed. But he did it. And that really set up the rest of the race weekend. He was patient. He looked after the tyres in the races. He was opportunistic. Every time there was an instant, he made sure he was looking ahead and got in there. So with F2, honestly, guys, that car is so difficult to drive. As you can see, everyone's like a win and then they're last and then they're fourth and then they're last again. It's hard to have a championship campaign that's really like Drogovic last year. That's difficult because there's so much that goes into it. Easy to make a mistake. You slightly wheel spin too much. That's it. You burnt the tires and it's gone. And I'm talking about micro wheel spins, the ones that you can't see, but you can see on data. If you slightly let the rear brakes cool down too much, they won't work. The thing is like spinning plates as you're trying to bloody drive the thing, this truck of an F2 car. And that's the problem. So always something goes wrong. The setup's wrong. You have an incident. So he just had a weekend where things just went well and he was super fast. And I think it's hard to even replicate that, to do it again. There's only like 4 drivers that have ever done the double, the reverse grid and the main race, and he did it. So we take it, but yeah, all focus is forward for him now. To say, right, what's next? Forget that race that I just won. Take what I can from it. Forget it. What's next? Because the next track, Imola, completely different. We're going to have a whole different bag of challenges there. Formula V. So this is Davison, sorry. Formula V or Formula Ford? I prefer Formula Ford, but it's much more expensive. Formula V is great. It is. It's a great car, and it's slipstream to hell. It really is. I'd say that's a great place to start if you don't have much cash. And I think Formula V are in most countries, or a lot of countries, right? Definitely in England, definitely in America, definitely in Oz, New Zealand, and surely in Europe as well. I don't know about anywhere else, but the Formula V Championship or something similar, it's a great place to start if you haven't got much cash. So have a look at VEE, it's called. Well, you probably know it's probably on iRacing or something, but they're great. But Formula Ford, even if it's a 1980s, 1990s car, they are tremendous. Again, like this little beauty, my second race car. Even if it's one of them, amazing. And I think it's like, I don't know, if you do club level, it's $2,000 a weekend sort of thing. You have to buy the car, but then you can sell it afterwards. And it's such an easy car to drive. You can even do sponsor days where your 1 or 2 top sponsors get to drive the actual car. They can't do too much damage as long as they're sensible and it's at a good track. So you can use it for sponsorship, entertainment days as well, as long as it's only a few people. So that's something you can offer. The Ace. I've only recognized you because you just put mine at Enzo Mucci. Yesterday I was racing. The first 2 races went fine. P3, well done, mate. And 2, but in the last, I lost 4 positions. Tires were fine. Wasn't nervous. Good start. What happened? Any idea what happened? How am I supposed to know that? Maybe your engine went down. So you didn't get a good result. You didn't get what you expected, right? Mate, if the driving was good and the car was good, you're going to have to tell me because I wasn't there. Give me some more info on that one, mate. Any more questions, people? Common legal pitfalls. Legal pitfalls for sponsor deals. You know what, people? This is where you got to be pretty careful. And it's something that people don't tell you either, because it doesn't happen that much. But when it does, it can be life-shattering. And that is, you get a sponsor, you get the contract. First legal hurdle is making sure that you produce a contract, a legal document that says you're going to pay me this much and I'm going to give you this much, in benefits. what you're going to provide for that money. So that's the first thing. You're going to make sure you have a good one. And they're going to have a payment structure on there as well, saying they'll pay this on March, they'll pay this in April, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to show them what you're going to do with their money. Fine. That's good. First one. The second thing that you got to legally think about is if you don't provide what you've promised. So say if you do, you say you're going to provide it, you're going to put this on there. There's so many, hundreds of thousands of people watching, but they find out that actually there's only 10,000 people watching the live streams and on the social media, or you accidentally say a word that pees them off and it goes against their brand, and you actually can do their brand some damage by what you say or how you act, that can get you into trouble legally. They can sue your ass. So there is some kind of insurance you can get for that if you get sponsorships or look into that. But really, you just got to. That's why F1 drivers can't really say what they think most of the time, because they might upset somebody somewhere, especially in today's world. They say the wrong thing, that's it, they're done. And you see it with drivers, live streaming, they say the wrong thing and they literally lose their contracts. So that can be the same for you. So it's either not delivering on what you promised or behaving in a way that the brand are like, right, we're going to sue you for damages. So yeah, be careful on them fronts. So if you go the sponsorship route, not only have you got to be entrepreneurial, but you got to make sure you play the game correctly. It doesn't mean being quiet and not being yourself. It just means be respectful to the brand and always keep them in mind when you're doing stuff, okay? Especially if you're on a young driver program. If I've got quite a few drivers like Ferrari, Red Bull drivers, Alpine drivers, Williams drivers, and they all have to watch their P's and Q's. To be careful, because really you're an ambassador for everyone that is attached to you. So you got to be careful. Okay, so that's the main thing. Is that a Van Diemen or a Mondial? This thing is a Reynard. And I'll tell you what, mate, it was probably the best car I've driven. It's funny, actually, that this was a big lesson for me. I was driving my crap box of a car that I bought for like $4,000. My white one. I still can't find a photo of it. I know I've got it, and it's on a thumbnail somewhere on one of the videos. And I was driving the tail off that thing, honestly. And I was just about getting in the top 10. And when I sold that, I made a bit of money on it, actually. I sold the car. And then I got this one, but this was actually prepared for me. I just joined another driver who had his own car, and he had this one as well. And he said, I'll prepare both cars. I'll take one in the back of the van with me, your car back in the van. Mine will be on the trailer. We'll go together, split the cost. And I thought, this is great. So it was actually cheaper than having my own car. So I rented it off him. Can't remember how much, but it's irrelevant anyway, because it was that long ago. And immediately I was up the front. I was driving exactly the same, but I was up the front. The second race weekend, I won my first race. Barely in the top 10 4 months ago. Now I'm winning races. And I was like, screw this, man. It really is motor sport. So there are people out there that experience this. Plenty. You can drive a certain way, you get certain results. You put that same driver in a different car, even though it's a fixed championship, everyone's got the same equipment, apart from you change the dampers and the springs and the tire pressures and things, toe in, blah, blah, blah. And it's up the front. Okay, there are certain people that cheat better than others. Cheat being the word using the rules, not really cheating, but everyone's sort of in the gray area, and the car's faster down the straight. The bearings are all, working well and everything, and they repair things a lot. They replace things a lot, so you've got good rolling resistance, should we say? But that thing, I was just up the front. Don't know why I keep showing you that. I was up the front, and so sometimes people jumping into a different car can make a difference. So if you're in a race team, you're struggling and your teammate's too fast, just ask the team to check the car. Send the chassis off to get x-rayed to make sure it's okay. Check the engine, because sometimes the data doesn't really show it. Get it refreshed mid-season, because motor sport, the motor is a big part of it, right? So you always got to remember that. Right. Ronan, for my proposal, should I set out an asking price high? You know what, mate? I did cover it earlier. I don't know if you saw it. Don't worry about a proposal just yet. Honestly, if proposal is the first port of call, that's the first thing they'll see. It's going to get thrown away. Remember, approach the CEO in their face or on the phone to their PA getting in saying, looking for companies that have got a product that's just launched or a service that's just launched, or they're making a bit of a noise, or actually something I saw recently that really works. If you go to the list that lists out, I don't know what it's called, I just heard about it. It lists out the top 100 companies, right? That they've got the most growth over this certain period. So the fastest growing companies in the world or in the country, there's a chart for that. And if you look at them, you say, right, these companies are now, they're going up. They brought out a product or they've just launched, they weren't even around a few years ago, and they are going through the roof. Their charts are up. They're having their record breaking years. These are the guys that you should maybe have a look at that list and study them first. Find out what they're doing, what they're selling, if they're sponsoring already, what they're up to. Is it a product that kind of suits motorsport? So all the people that watch motorsport would like their product. That's the kind of person then you've got to contact and say, you know what, I can help you sell more of your product and services through sport. Do you fancy a coffee? And I've got some ideas of how to do that. That's all you need. You don't need a proposal, because it's too much yes or no, and they won't be in the right frame of mind when they read it. It's not like they're sat there on their desk thinking, I wonder how I could grow my business. If only I had something come through the post and tell me how I could completely revolutionize things. And then they see yours and it's there. It doesn't happen like that. They're too busy. It gets thrown away by the PA. And now that PA, that woman who holds the key to the CEO or the managing director, whoever it is that's at the top, that's the person to win over. You say, you know what? I've got an idea using sport, how it can help you sell more of whatever product it is or service. Can I run an idea past you? And just you tell me, Mrs. PA or Mr. PA, can I run an idea past you just to see if you find it interesting? And if it is, could you pass it on to your boss? And they love that. All right. That was from Brian Sims. That's what he does. That's how he gets in the door. He goes through the PA, talks to them, gets their feedback, and then can refine his pitch before he goes in for the kill for the CEO. Or he'll, the PA, will tell the boss, take a look at this. This is somebody who can actually help us in sport. They reckon they've got 1,000 more potential clients for us. Go that route. And then once that you've had to sit down with them, then you create a brochure, because you know what they want then. And you only include the 3 or 4 things that they want, and then you price it accordingly. Do it that way, mate. Do it that way, Ronan. Right. Anybody else? I'm planning on Euro NASCAR for 2024. What do you think of that series? Yeah, mate. I mean, anything with the word NASCAR is good in terms of for sponsors. I know some people that did it. I don't know what comes from it in terms of it feels like it's a step towards America, to NASCAR itself, but I don't know if it actually is. So just see, because I haven't looked at it for a while, see if it has actually got a step in, an introduction. If you're a champion, can you just go and do some races over there? Is it a prize? So yeah, I mean, honestly, everyone who's asking about championships, I would just say find something that you can afford. Call up all the teams you can and people that run in these championships and make your mind up. But I just want you to be on the track. It's nearly irrelevant what you race. Just get on the track, get a year under your belt, and then start to worry about what the next step is. So everybody's thinking about, is this the right championship? Just get on the track, something you can afford. It's not impossible. If little old me from like a council estate can do this, anyone here can. I promise you. I had no bloody idea what I was doing. Just delivering pizzas and working in a factory, honestly. Okay. I think that's it, unless there's any more. Do you have to own your own car in those cases? No, you don't have to own your own car. Like I said, the second car, I just rented it off somebody. There's plenty of teams in every club championship, or there should be. If not, someone will know of someone who can run the car for you, and you just hire it. They just say, right, it's $1,000 a weekend, on you go. Thank you very much. That's what we'll do. Right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me. Sorry, it's not like a proper video. It's just that I've got to catch this flight tonight to go to Barcelona. So it's been a pleasure. I'll do a normal video next week. And if you got any questions, just keep firing them over and I'll make a video on it, hopefully. Brilliant. Thanks, everybody. See ya.